And in every abortion, every single abortion, at least one baby dies, a woman is wounded, a man is wounded, and a man is involved. A man is involved. And there's different scenarios that we deal with in terms of the man's relationship with the woman who has an abortion. I have had many men come to me and say, Father, my girlfriend or my wife, she had an abortion. I didn't even find out about it until after the fact. And I hear this many times. But as a percentage of all the abortions, that scenario really is a very low percent. I have other men who come to me and say, Father, I had my wife, my girlfriend, she wanted to have an abortion. I objected. I wanted to have the baby, and she went and had the abortion anyway. And I hear it many times, but again, as a percentage of the whole, it's a very small percent. I've stood in front of abortion mills and seen men drag their wife or their girlfriend or their victim into abortion mills, physically force them to have abortions. Seen it many times over the years. But as a percentage of the whole, it's still a very small percent. The overwhelming majority of abortions is a scenario that I call the Adam scenario. And it is what I did to my Eve decades ago. If we look at the scene of Adam and Eve in the Garden of Paradise, we know the serpent comes in to test Eve, to tempt Eve, to confuse Eve. And in that passage later on, it says her husband was there. So Adam was there. So as this dialogue is going on between Adam and the serpent, between Eve and the serpent, what is Adam doing? At no time does Adam say, come on, Eve, let's get out of here. Eve, don't listen to him. He doesn't take Eve by the arm, drag her away. He doesn't step on the serpent's head. He doesn't say, get behind me, Satan. He does none of those things. And of course, women are intuitive. Eve is intuitive, probably looking to Adam for counsel. Adam's not saying anything, probably going like this. Eve takes that as tacit approval, and then she eats the fruit. Now, I personally believe the possibility, considering Adam's conduct, especially after this happens, that very possibly Adam was standing there watching to see if Eve dies after she eats the fruit. And when then Eve didn't die, I think Adam might have said, give me some of that fruit. Eve gives Adam the fruit, then they go into hiding. God comes looking for them. Adam, Adam, where are you? We're hiding. Why are you hiding? We were naked. Who told you were naked? Oh, you ate of the fruit. Now, at that point, what does Adam do? What does Adam do? Now, Adam, in my mind, could have completely avoided the near occasion of sin, could have completely saved Eve, bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh, protected Eve, taken Eve out of there. In my mind, Adam was responsible for protecting Eve, standing up for Eve, bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh. And what does Adam do? There's three beings in paradise. There is the supreme being, the creator God, Adam and Eve. And Adam says, the woman you sent me gave me the fruit to eat. Adam blames God and Eve for what he was responsible for. My brothers and sisters in Christ, this is what I did to my Eve. And this is what in most abortion scenarios, what men do to women. They don't stand up for their women. They say, hey, I'll support you in whatever decision you make. And then, as I did, convince them really why they should have the abortion, so that after the fact, they can wash their hands and not take responsibility. Oh, no, it was her choice. It was her choice. And we as men need to stand up and be men. We need to act responsibly. We need to be accountable if we wound women. We need to stand up for our women. Men often get wounded by abortions, but in most scenarios, women are wounded because men are like Adam was with Eve. This is the way I was. And as much as we went to confession fairly quickly after The abortion, we were away from the sacraments, came back to the sacraments after confession for a while. It wasn't until decades later that I realized that I was that man. I was Adam, and I went and I apologized, looked my girlfriend up from decades before. Well, these were decades before I was a priest. And that's when I found out that the abortion cost 2 lives, because I found out it was twins. And we named our children Thomas and Mary. Of course, Mary after the Blessed Mother, Thomas after St. Thomas Aquinas. You know, my brothers and sisters in Christ, one of the things that we can do to end preborn child killing is to be really sensitive about how many people are wounded in our culture directly from abortion. The numbers are correct. The percentages are maybe 20, 30% of all women and men have been wounded by abortion directly from abortion. We need to be attentive to people acting out, whether it be high-risk behavior, whether it be depression. I've learned over the years studying a Dr. Ney from Canada or Teresa Burke and studying about survivors and of course, Silent No More and Rachel's Vineyard to ask questions when I see someone depressed, when I see someone acting out. And of course, I give my witness all the time. But I ask them, have you been a victim of sexual or physical abuse, or have you been affected by abortion in your lives? And so let us be attentive, my brothers and sisters in Christ. Let us reach out to the wounded, be sensitive about how extensive the woundedness is in our country.